welcome to our Plugs Community Connection. I am your host, DJ Kitty Cat, with my sister co-host, Miss Morningstar, on WKRA 92.7 FM The Change. If you're looking for the best in news, current events, community outreach programs, and shopping connections, you've come to the right place. We've got a great mix of content and community connections lined up for you this evening, along with special guest interviews. So, grab your favorite drink of choice, turn up the volume, and let's get into it.
Good morning, WKRA 92.7, The Change. Good morning, Holly Springs, Mississippi. Good morning, Memphis, Tennessee. Happy Wednesday. It's a beautiful day. It's going to be a beautiful day. Go ahead and get you something to drink, coffee, tea, whatever you choose. Water is always good. And come on in. We've got a great show planned for today, and I want you guys to be here to take advantage of it. So come on in, get you something to drink, and let's relax, or even eat your breakfast. It's early enough for breakfast, and we're going to start our morning like we always do with our morning affirmations from our affirmation queen, Mrs. Morningstar. Good morning, Mrs. Morningstar.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Holly Springs. Good morning, Memphis, Tennessee. And good morning, DJ Kitty. How are you?
I cannot complain. Today is another beautiful day that I'm here. And
it's one of my days, my favorite days, hump day.
Hump day. We're halfway there.
Oh, yeah. You know I enjoy hump day. So, yes, we're going to get into our affirmations this morning. And I've been trying to keep it surrounded by, what our topics are, And tonight's topic is about knowing your worth and teaching people how to treat you, So let's get into it. Let's get into this affirmation.
Absolutely.
So this affirmation is just 10 points. It's 10 points. I love finding things that kind of coincide with what we talk about. So it's about love. So love is just not about two people in a relationship. It's about the community that surrounds them. Love is a form of resistance against a system that tries to tear us apart. Love is a reminder that we are worthy of love and respect and happiness. Love is a source of joy, healing, and hope. Love is a way of honoring our ancestors and the sacrifices that they made for us. Love is about building a legacy that will inspire future generations. Love is about creating a safe space where we can be vulnerable and authentic. Love is about celebrating each other's success and supporting each other through struggle. Love is about showing up for each other even when the world is against us. Love is about finding someone who sees you for who you are.
I love it.
Love.
I love love, period.
I love love.
Black love. Seeing those young couples is great, but when you see an older couple sitting there together and they're not even talking, but they're talking to each other without saying a word. I remember
talking, And this was based off of Black love.
Black love, absolutely.
365 days of Black history. We love each. We just are full of love.
We're a loving people,
We're
very pathetic and we're very caring. And that's the best part of us. I like to remember and reminisce on watching my parents grow old together, watching my grandparents grow old together. When you've had that experience in your life, you look forward to it and it teaches you how to love as well. So I love love.
It is a blessing.
It is. So I'm loving the weather I know that much. Let's talk about love. I'm loving this
Amen.
weather. It feels wonderful here in Texas. And Holly Springs and Memphis, you guys have had some really good weather as well. Today's high will be 77 degrees and the low of 39. Now, 39 is a little chilly. Grab a jacket. There's a 21% chance of rain, which means that 21% of the city will get rain. Doesn't mean that, 21%. I had to learn that the hard way. Anyway, it's going to be cloudy this morning, partly cloudy with winds, gusts, possible showers or thunderstorms this afternoon. Winds out of the south-southwest, 20 to 30 miles per hour. And in Memphis, you got a high of 75. Those 70s, baby. A low of 41, a little chilly, 17% chance of rain, and 17% of the city, basically. It's a decrease in winds and clouds, so it's not going to be as windy or as cloudy, so you're going to see some sun. You got the winds coming from the south-southwest at 25 to 35 miles per hour, so it's not as windy as yesterday. And then in Houston, high of 82, low of 49. Uh, Beautiful weather. Beautiful weather. 23% chance of rain. It'll be 23. It probably will rain on 3 or 4 blocks in Houston somewhere. Cloudy in the morning. This afternoon, nice and sunny. We've got winds coming from west northwest, and it's about 15 to 25 miles per hour. So today, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. And I know that there are still people that are recovering from this past weekend. Again, my heart goes out to all those who have lost loved ones in the tragedies over the weekend, the fires, the tornadoes. Keep those people in your prayers, please. You just never know. And nowadays, you just have to be aware, pay attention to the weather because climate change is real. And we can all try and pretend that it's not, but let's just be honest. I have never known hurricanes to, I'm sorry, not hurricanes, earthquakes to be as prevalent. I mean, we've had earthquakes in cities that I never even knew it could happen, but honestly, of course it can. So that's it for the weather. Let's go ahead and hop into current events. Today we're going to talk. Let me tell you guys about the topic. Today we're going to talk about how people are treating you and teaching people how to treat you. So I'm looking forward to that. You guys stick around. It's going to be an excellent show. We've got our sister Shanika Jack here, and she's going to walk us through some tips on teaching people how to treat you. But before we get to Mrs. Jack, we're going to hop into current events. So, who went first yesterday morning? Was
I
it?
did. So you can go
Okay.
ahead and go. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, let's start with something, something outrageous. In Las Vegas, they're setting Tesla dealerships on fire. Um, I don't even know what to say. Elon, are you okay? Blink twice. When you mess with people, you got to expect there are a lot of people who are going through some things, and I never condone violence, and no one on the radio 92.7 definitely doesn't condone violence. I just will give Elon a word of advice: leave people alone.
Please do.
Leave people alone, and maybe, just maybe, your dealerships will stop catching on fire. It's horrible that somebody is destroying property. I don't support that at all. But I also don't support firing 62,000 federal workers. So I said what I said. In addition to that, let's see. SCOTUS John Roberts, Supreme Court Justice John Roberts, pushed back on DJT's court request to impeach a judge. We're not doing that. The SCOTUS, and which is alarming because I really thought that Judge Roberts would do anything that DJT says, considering they gave him complete immunity. But
Mm-hmm.
he said no. We're
Yeah,
not doing that.
he did.
He did. And
Mm-hmm.
not only did he say no, Judge Tanya Chutkin said, come to court, because Jack Smith um, findings, they are arguing that Trump was not acting under his official presidential duties. And so they want him to come to court. Now, what's going to happen? What happens of it? What comes of it? I have no earthly idea. I can't predict the future. If I could, trust me, I'd predict the lottery numbers and y'all would never see me again. However, since I can't predict the future, I'm just going to say whatever happens, I'm just hoping for justice, not just us, justice. Because, you know, you can't have people commit an insurrection and then say, so what, when they come in and tell you that your VP is under attack and that they are going to attack him. And his comment was, so what? So what? That's what you say about your VP. JD Vance, he better be very, very careful. Either Vance or Elon. I don't know. I don't really know who the vice president is. I'm not sure. The jury's still out on that one. But yeah, that's just a little bit of news that I came up with. I am reading over a couple articles that I will be talking about tomorrow from Heart and Soul magazine. I love their magazine. They've got some really good articles that's uplifting the Black community. So I will be sharing that tomorrow. But you go right ahead, Miss Morningstar. What do you got?
Okay, well, I was doing a little reading in blacknews.com, and I came across an article. It's very heart-wrenching, guys. So kind of prepare yourself. So 19-year-old Black twin brothers were found unalived in Georgia, and the family is rejecting the idea of murder-suicide theory. So the story is as told. These two brothers, Kadar and Nazar Lewis, were found with gunshot wounds in Bell Mountain in Hiwassee, Georgia, on March 8th. And they're ruling it a possible murder-suicide. However, the family is rejecting that because they know that these two brothers were absolutely super close, and there is no way that they would have harmed one another. Their bodies were found by some hikers at 11:05 a.m. on a mountain, in which about 90 miles away from their home in Lawrenceville, Georgia. The story is that they had booked flights, so they were getting ready to travel that morning, and they had got up because they had an early flight. So they left their home to drive to the airport. How they were diverted to wherever this location, which was, like I said, 90 miles from their home, nobody knows yet. It sounds very suspicious. The honest question is, how did they end up in the mountains? We've never even heard of that area. What is that? Where is that area? When you start asking those questions, then something is up. And as a family, I'm praying for them, and I hope that they push through to find out what truly happened to these young men, young handsome Black men, just starting out in life, 19 years old, and just graduated. And it's sad. It's sad. Their plane tickets were found in their pockets, in their wallets, I'm sorry. So they were going on a flight. They were supposed to catch a flight that morning.
Yeah, none of this is adding up. It doesn't.
It's not adding up.
They're brothers and they're twins. It's unheard of. It's unheard of. And I am praying for that family, that mother, that father, all those family members that are affected by this. I know this is like the worst nightmare you can have, is someone doing anything to your child. But twin brothers, I reject murder suicide also, because it doesn't make sense.
It does not.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna keep my eyes open on more information about this because I'm pretty sure this is going to hit some sort of. It's gonna be a push. Crump. I'm pretty sure national media. Georgia does not have a good history, and I don't know about these backwoods and these back mountains and stuff of
We don't just
Georgia.
go to the mountains. I'm
We
sorry,
do
we really
not.
don't.
And these young men were not known for hiking. So that I'm pretty sure that why would they end up there when they were on their way to the airport
Yes, with tickets in their pockets.
with tickets?
I'm quite sure they had their luggage also. So
Yes,
uh,
they had
it's just,
plans. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated if I come across anything else. Let's keep watching. Another thing I came across and this one is a white teen was arrested for racist graffiti at school in Missouri. His mom turned him in.
well, and look at mama. His mama
So
she said,
this 18-year-old, he's 18 in high school, from Missouri, is facing charges for spraying paint racist graffiti, including threats to unalived Black people at two schools. And his mother turned him in, saying her family does not condone these actions.
she's probably sick of him.
She probably sick of him, and I'm looking at him, and I don't like to do the stereotype, but these kids that have been running up in these schools and doing some of these things, these have been some odd children, and he looks like he could be one of the odd ones. Just keep it real.
The one thing that I notice about those types of people who decide that they're going to run in and hurt and harm other people is that they always have a specific, they always have something that ties them together. I can't really put my finger on it, but y'all know what it is. I'm not going to say allegedly. I can't even say allegedly because most school shooters are young white men.
Yes.
And
yes.
Let's just be honest. Like,
let's be honest with it.
Media, mainstream media, they will tell you immediately once it's a Black kid. Mm-hmm. They will tell you no matter what age, they will tell you everything about him, everything. But when it's a white child, they will make it seem as if he was misguided or mental health. How about evil? How about evil? For you to go in and just terrorizing children and your peers because of the color of their skin is downright disgusting. So good for his mother. I guess she said, look, can you imagine living in, no, I'm not even going to finish that sentence because I can't imagine. I pray that those who are going through it with a child who wants to be on this racist, crazy rhetoric and fill their minds with hate. I pray that there are other parents that seek the help that these children need before they go out and do something that will land them in jail or unalived.
Some people say, how can you turn your own child in? No, that's easy. Love. That's a parent's love. When you are able to turn your child in, when you know they are going to do something that's going to harm other people and harm themselves, I'm calling the people on you.
Yeah, because I'm not going to sit back idly by while you not only destroy your life, but destroy people's lives that they have nothing to do with your insanity. Because, the thoughts of hurting and harming others is insane. Mm-hmm. He probably did terrorize.
Yeah, you're right, Reggie. She probably had enough.
Yes.
And she said, you know what, before he harmed his family, before he harmed himself and other people, I'm going to do the right thing and get him put away. Because he is something is off,
Something is off. And, they, instead of making excuses for your child who's acting like a demon seed, go ahead and do the right thing. What's worse, your child getting put in a place where he can get the mental help that he needs? Because Yeah, you're wanting to hurt other people. There's something mentally wrong with you, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But or you having to face the entire world knowing that your child took the lives of other children
That
because
part.
you didn't want to turn your child in. If you don't turn that little demon seed in, you can't. You have the children, you do your best, but you can't make anybody do anything that they don't want to do. And you're right, powerful Black woman. She may have saved many more, and including himself. She may
Mm-hmm.
have saved him and his classmates. So
Mm-hmm.
we want other parents to take that, take the initiative. If you see that your children are acting out, take the look. We didn't have locked doors in my house. I wish you would lock the door. The only door that was locked in my house was the front and the back door. We
A,
don't lock doors. You're a
a
child,
kick door. I pull a
okay?
kick door in a minute. Don't play with me.
I caught myself getting smart one time and slammed the door. My daddy came home and took the door off the hinges.
I heard of that. You don't play.
Took the
What?
door off the hinges,
No
and then
slamming doors around him.
no, you want to slam a door, you won't have a door. Is what he told me. You want to slam a door? I was so mad at my mom. I was like, I can't believe you told him. She was like, you was up there slam. And I was. I walked in and I slammed the door, walked back out, slammed the door, thinking I was grown. I was like 16, smelling myself, as the old folks say. My daddy came home. He didn't say not one single word. He came home. I seen that tool belt. And I'm just looking at him like, what are you going to do? What? And then he started taking the hinges. I was so hurt. That is.
And then it got real, huh?
It got real. JP did not play with me. He didn't play with any of us. I called myself one time. He grounded me off the phone. I think I missed curfew. Grounded me off the phone. I got a job. I'll buy my own phone. I went, bought me a phone, and he had walked by my door. I had my door back by then, but I was, kind of trying to rebel or whatever. My daddy walked in my room, opened the door. I'm like, you can't knock. And I forgot that he had took my phone. I had the phone sitting right there. My daddy politely walked over there. I said, I bought it. He said, I don't care. It is my phone line. My daddy took my phone and snatched the plug out of the wall. I was so hurt. I bet you I straightened up after that though.
You learned that day too.
Yes, I got on the good foot. As the old folks say, get your mind right. And that's exactly what I did. But I say that to say this, parents, be parents. You don't need to be your kids' friends. They got friends. And you should have your own adult friends. Be a parent. Be like this mother. Turn your child in.
Turn them in.
If they're doing something that's going to harm others or themselves, please turn them in.
You'll be okay. Cry later, but just know
you'll be all right.
For their own good.
Yes, they'll only be mad at you for a little while, but as they get older, they'll understand you had to do what you had to do. You are listening to WKRA 92.7, The Change. I'm your host, DJ Kitty. I'm here with my co-host, Ms. Morningstar from Our Plugs, the Community Connection. We will be right back after this quick commercial.
Hey guys, yes, this is my nonprofit, Carter's Caring Hands. And what my nonprofit does? We give fresh food boxes to those families in need that's struggling to keep food on their tables. We also go out into the unhoused community, give out care bags here in the Kalamazoo, Michigan area. So if you'd like to donate to the cause, please go to www.carterscaringhands.com and donate whatever you can. So we together can uplift those families that's struggling to keep food on their tables. Highly appreciate it. God bless.
Timeless elegance. Redefine class. Welcome to Morningstar Boutique by Tam, where fashion at its finest, fashion that brings out your inner cuteness, and styles that make you go, oh girl, where you get that from? Check me out at www.morningstarboutique.com or at ourplugsllc.com. Can't wait to see you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Middleton, life and executive leadership coach and owner of Radiate Coaching and Development, where we provide transformational strength-based coaching and mentorship. My goal specifically is to support you in identifying your mission, your vision, and your values that help you take your power back as you are building your career. Whether it's within or outside of the corporate world, my goal is to really empower you in making decisions that work well for you. So if you want to reach out to me, by all means, you can email me at radiate@midspiration.com or check out my website at radiatecoaching.com.
Welcome to a world that sparkles. Sparkle Cakes LLC takes custom to a whole new level. You are guaranteed to find a gift for that special someone or even a customized gift for yourself. So head on over to my Etsy shop, Sparkle Cakes LLC, and start your personalized order today. I'll be waiting to hear from you. Have a great day.
And we are back. So like I said earlier, this morning we are talking to Mrs. Jack on how to treat people, teaching people how to treat you. And I'm excited. I got my paper, got my pen. I'm here to learn. Go ahead and bring Mrs. Jack on up to the studio.
Yeah, let's get her up. Let's get her
in here.
on the stage. Add to the stage. Hey, Miss Jack. Can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
Yes, you're on mute, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody? I see y'all got y'all pens.
Yes, ma'am.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That means y'all prepared. Okay.
We are prepared.
Good morning, chat.
Yes. Hey, honey. Hey.
Come to class prepared.
Yes, we have come to class prepared. The topic today is teaching people how to treat you. So I am truly interested. So I'm going to go ahead and be quiet and let you hop right on into it.
All right. Y'all know when I come, I have 4 tips. Okay. So I'm going to give y'all 4 tips on how to teach people how to treat you. And the first one is set your personal boundaries of what you will not stand for in every aspect of your life. And that's relationship, work, and public, private, whatever. If you don't know what you will stand for, people will run over you. You cannot tell people what you won't accept if you don't know what you won't accept. A lot of people get into, I'll use relationships, for example. I always tell people, date for a long time and learn who the person is. But when you first start dating, the first thing you should tell them is, hey, this is what I will not stand for, what I won't accept in a relationship. That's how you set boundaries in a relationship. Same thing with at work. When you are when you do your interview and they are telling you what they expect from you. Like when I was in the military, we did the same thing back in return. This is what I expect. So you have to set those boundaries for every aspect of your life so that people know how to deal with you. If not, they are going to teach you how to deal with them. And that's automatic.
Absolutely. Every time.
Every single time. If you do something out of line, somebody will correct you if it's something that they don't agree with. What they're doing is setting a boundary with you because you either crossed it or you're close or teeter-totter into something that they don't actually agree with. So their boundary, even though they haven't said it to you, they're setting it with you because they stopped you. So that's what you have to do. And it's kind of hard when you're dealing with type A personality, talking to a type A personality. Some of us don't like being told what we cannot say or what we cannot do, but we have to get out of the realm of thinking that this person is trying to tell me what to do instead of thinking this person is trying to set boundaries with me. Because we all get offended when people hit a nerve. It's like, wait, you sound like you're trying to tell me what to say, what not to do, da-da-da-da. You got to listen harder to see if they're saying, hey, I'm just trying to tell you what not to do to me. You know how you told people don't do this so it doesn't upset me? You're telling them, you're teaching them, these are the things that upset me. This is a boundary I'm setting so I don't get upset and I don't allow you to make me upset. That's how the understanding that you have to get with people when you're having conversations and you're setting your boundaries with people. So have either one of you had any issues with that?
I like that because boundaries are important. And if people don't know, you really can't get upset if you haven't told them how you feel or how that makes you feel, even in friendship, not just relationships. Your friends should know certain things they can, or how they can approach you, or if you're approachable, or is there a way, basically how to handle you, in an aspect. So yeah, I like that. Setting those boundaries is definitely rule number one.
Absolutely.
I think with relationships is when it really sets in, because you go through these relationships and you've been treated a certain way. So it's like, hey, I'm just trying to tell you how not to have us wind up in the same situation that I just wound up in the last situation. So I'm telling you to stop you from doing it. It's kind of like a prevention measure to stop the other person
Preventative.
from overstepping your boundaries. Okay?
Yeah.
Love it.
Love it.
All right, number 2. Now, you set your boundaries, right? Once you have established these boundaries, you have to enforce them. Don't allow exceptions, because what you don't stop someone for doing will make them think it is okay to do. When I was teaching my nieces, I would always teach them about getting into relationships. And I would tell them, hey, when you get into a relationship, you got to tell these little boys, if they say something wrong, you got to stop them. Tell them that this is a boundary. I don't like being spoken to that way. I don't deal with cheating. But saying it means nothing if you don't enforce it. If you don't stand behind those words, those are empty words. They take you for a joke, and they're going to see how far they can go before you enforce your boundaries. So when you set these boundaries, you cannot go back. You have to reinforce them by continuing to say, yeah, this is what I said. I don't care what you say. This is still my boundary. Because people are going to try to jump over it like Olympics, jumping dead over it, because they know they're trying to get something. Usually when you set a boundary, it's to protect yourself. With something they want from you, they got to try to over jump one of those boundaries just to see how far you're going. I always say relationships because that's where it usually happens. But, kids do it. Children do it when you tell them, hey, that's a no-no. Mommy said no ice cream until after you eat dinner. So they'll eat a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and say, hey, I ate some dinner and I have ice cream. Now, if you give it to them, you telling them, hey, I ain't got to eat all of it. I just got to eat some of it and she'll cave in. No, you got to stand firm. You don't get ice cream until you finish eating your dinner. And that's how you have to stand firm on everything. I made it a small example, but you see, apply it to the larger grand scheme of things. People that don't want to put in a potluck and want to put money into a potluck and think they're going to come and eat for free. No.
Yeah.
No, put any money in. You didn't explain to us that you had a personal issue why you could not donate. Those type of things. You got to
nip it in the bud.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And then it makes. Go ahead.
I'm hearing that, but with I agree with everything when it's an adults, and I agree with it when it's children. It's harder when it's children because these little people have minds and mouths of their own, and y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. So
I know. These little ones are something else.
Yes. And
do you have any boundaries with him?
I do have boundaries with my grandson.
And what are they?
He skates right past them. It don't matter what the boundaries are.
But why does he skate past them, ma'am?
Because I'm a grandma, and you did not
do what?
I did not enforce the boundaries.
There you go.
I think that's just one of those things when you become a grandparent and these grandparents. And then it's also a thing with the baby of the family sometimes.
It is. My children, I enforced it because they don't know who I am now. They don't recognize
Same thing I told my mama. My youngest brother is 10 years apart. And we was like, did you forget how to parent or punish or what is it?
It also comes with getting older too.
We're tired.
He's tired. my child is like her and her siblings are so far apart. We are probably different. We are different when it comes to
And it's
her.
different times. We grew up
and
in
I'm more
times.
of a, okay, my husband like, do you ever say no? I do sometimes.
Yeah.
You say no when it's worth it. Like you have to
Not
pick your
enough,
battles
but
when you're dealing with teenagers. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. And then you're dealing with a 6-year-old. Nana's just Nana,
6 going on 26, because
Right.
when I tell you the conversations Mr. Blake can hold.
He know his boundaries though. He knows that he can jump over certain ones. He know, like, if you raise your voice or if you give him a stern look or you say, hey, children react different when they know the boundary has been
Crossed.
forced.
Yeah.
Forced for real. Like, wait, she might come over here
and he knows that there will be there are times where I have to snatch it, but I'm tired. Go sit down somewhere. Go in there with your mama. Is the easiest thing for me to say. Go in there with your mom. But yeah.
Yeah. He's supposed to be in there with his mama. But yes, they teach you how to treat them, and then you gotta stand on 10 toes behind your boundaries, people.
I'm trying.
Don't let people get to skating and slipping and sliding, because some people they're just that type of person that they have to test them just to see if they can get you to break them. Just because. There's
that's true.
Mind behind it. They just want to make sure they take you out of your normal self. So if you enforce your boundaries, they know that you don't play business. Hey, I know when I come around Miss Jack, I don't need to be doing a lot of cussing and fussing and real loud, Can't just talk to her any kind of way. They know these things. My nieces, my cousins, they know these things when they come around me. What you say around your little friends, do that outside. But my boundary is I don't want to hear it. So they've learned that over the years.
And that's respect. That's definitely a form of respect.
But some of them don't have it.
A lot of them don't have, and that shocks me with some people. No filters, but I ain't gonna go into it.
Me either. All right, what's number 3?
All right, now we set our boundaries. We are standing behind it, standing on business. Number 3 is don't be afraid to walk away if someone consistently disregards your boundaries. We hate ending relationships. We hate not speaking to somebody that we thought we had a good rapport with. We hate just saying, you know what, I'm going to have to chalk this up and just leave this alone and let it be, because you are not doing what I told. My boundaries are chew with your mouth closed, or things like that. You repeatedly sit and eat with me with your mouth wide open, smacking, and I don't like that. Just a silly example, but don't walk in my house, check the door, knock on the door, things like that, because people will do that. So we have to make the deciding decision to be the end all be all.
Okay, so can I recommend that we also make sure we don't be super petty? Like,
please don't be petty. You want to keep
what kind of petty?
I'm gonna say this. Some things in relationships, don't you have to find a balance? Like, it's gonna be some things you're not gonna like.
Of course,
and you gotta outweigh the good versus the bad versus the evil, and evil we don't accept. But there may be some bad habits that that you might can deal with, but some you might not can deal with.
You set those in the beginning, though. Remember, when I was saying about when you first start dating is when those hard values that you have, those boundaries have to be. I don't like smoking. I'm not going to date a smoker. That's not something that's going to change. You won't have to argue about that later because you're not going to pick a smoker. But like you're saying, like things that you find out later, it's like, okay, now I love you, so I can't.
Some people don't
beef for a little bit.
My grandma always said, pick your battles, because not
Exactly.
everything is worth the battle. You know, pick
Yes.
your battles.
Pick 'em.
You know,
You don't have
but
to end it over every little.
yes, he breathed too loud. It's over. We can't have that.
I'm tired of looking at that finger. Why your fingers curl that way?
You can't just break up with somebody because they breathing too
Over the
loud.
wind and blew hard. No, not petty. Let it be a
Not
real.
petty.
Let it be
Yes,
a real
the
serious
real-
boundary.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you don't want to walk this journey alone, but don't settle, but don't be petty, because he just remember, while you are critiquing him or her, they're doing it back to you. So they may be looking at you talking about your toes. Your toes are curled the wrong way, and I can't stay looking at your
Why
toes.
that baby toe doing the gangster link?
Yo, one of them eyes ain't never set straight. No way. You know, you be like, I'm hurt. Like, no, you started it. You know, the
But
petty
you
is what
started
you get into in a relationship. But yeah,
Don't be
that's not what
petty.
I'm talking about. Don't end it over that. You got to walk
Take me
away
as
from
I am.
people
my
that
man.
tiptoe on the real boundaries, especially like work. When you're dealing with somebody at work, sometimes the only thing you can do is stop speaking to them unless it only deals with your job. You can have friendships at work, you can have acquaintances at work, and you can have them people that absolutely know, I don't like you and you don't like me. The only way we will communicate is when you bring me something that is work related and I have to speak to you. That's a boundary you set because you had some kind of situation happen with that person. They overstepped a boundary. You have cut it. That is your level of cutting it. I only deal with you for work purposes. If I see you anywhere else outside, I don't see you.
Absolutely. As soon as we walk out this door, I do not know you. You do not know me.
I used to didn't know you.
I do. Some people cut their phones off when they leave work because they don't want to, or they block the work number or something. They don't want to be contacted because this job is a boundary. I only work when I'm at this job.
So that's why my working hours are from 9 to 5. No, 5 o'clock.
Nobody paying me overtime to answer calls at 9:30 at night.
That
I ain't
phone
with
is
my
going
family.
off.
Exactly. If you're going to pay me to be on call, that is a separate conversation. If not, then it has to wait until I get. And you got to set these boundaries at work too. When I was working my civilian job, the hours, and I'm using air quotes, the hours were 8:30 to 5. We were there 6 o'clock. We didn't get overtime. We were salaried, but they made you feel so bad that you stayed. And then they had people that had to pick their kids up. They would be late for this and late for that. And I was, fresh out of retirement, trying to figure out, why are y'all doing this still? Like, why are we still here? We're not getting overtime. So I just started leaving at my regular time. Like, y'all, we'll try to make guilt people into doing extra hours. So you have to set a boundary or people will run over you. That's the most important thing about it. If you don't set your boundaries, people are going to run over you because your boundary was a joke. It was just a joke. It was just words. Okay, are we clear?
I agree with that 1,000%, especially when it comes to the workforce. It's work-life balance, and please take advantage of that, because as we've seen, they have no problems with firing folks. So leave when it says 5 o'clock. You need to be wrapping it up about 4:45 and out the door.
I logged out. We had Paycor. That was our payment system.
Paycor.
I logged out at 5:00 p.m. That was it.
That's it.
I'm not giving y'all no extra work. All right. So the last one is, remember that you are not responsible for other people's behavior. Stand up to your friends that do things wrong and expect you to go along with it. That's a boundary in a friendship. Sometimes we want to go along with the crowd, or we don't want to rattle the bed, right? We don't like hurting people's feelings. If it's somebody we love, somebody we care about, we don't want to tell them no. We don't want to say, hey, I don't want to do that. But if you have a friend that's saying, hey, let's, for example, get in a car and go rob a bank, and you just ride along for the ride because you don't want to set a boundary of like telling them no, all y'all go to jail. Every last one of y'all. You cannot be guilt tripped or peer pressured into, just going along with the crowd and not setting boundaries with your friend. If you got a friend that's not paying child support and letting their kid go hungry, why would you want to continue to go out with this person? Knowing that they're not spending money on their kid, huh?
That person shouldn't even be going out. You should be telling your friend, instead of you going out wasting your money, why don't you help with paying for your child? This is your responsibility. That's being a friend. When it comes to kids, we love the kids, so that's where you draw the line. And not responsible for other people's behavior. That is so true. That is why that mother turned in her son. Absolutely. He was not going to be responsible for his behavior.
Even though they have a bond, because they're mother and son. My brother, God rest his soul, my brother, when he was a teenager, he backed into the gas pump. And this is in the 90s. He ran it over. She brought him right on back. She brought him right back. He came and told her, and she brought him right on back. And we had to pay. My mama had to pay some money for that gas pump, but she did the right thing.
Yeah,
it's too easy to look, aside and feel guilty about things that people that you're friends with are doing. But you don't want to be complicit. You don't want to be known that I can go get Miss Jack. She'll ride with nobody. Nobody that knows me knows that's gonna think I'm gonna go do nothing foolish. I've been set all my boundaries. I'm not going to go with you to rob no bank. I'm not gonna go with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, T-Wiz said, don't worry about hurting someone's feelings when your safety is in jeopardy. Absolutely. That's
the truth.
Yeah.
There's no sense in worrying about it.
That's all the way it is.
You cannot go back in reverse. Right?
No jeopardy of my safety and my life because you're making dumb decisions.
Right. But just remember that, sometimes we feel like we're responsible for what other people do. Especially if you get put in certain situations. You're only responsible for yourself and the kid that you birthed and your household. Sometimes if that gets out of hand, you have to put a stop to that, set boundaries with that. But you're not responsible for somebody else. Don't have that burden on yourself. Go ahead, Kitty.
I'm just letting you know we need to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Okay. You're listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection on WKRA 92.7 The Change. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break. Opalmay Simplistic Beauty is hair care and skincare in a bottle. Take a quick survey and let us design your own formula. Go to ourplugs.com, look for Opalmay Simplistic Beauty, and we can get your formula out to you as soon as possible. We hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to Nutrition You Design. Finally, your place to really get to the bottom line of your health with our functional nutritionist Gail Thorpe on board. You have a caring practitioner to get to the root cause of your health concerns when all else fails. At Nutrition You Design, we specialize in women's health, anywhere from hormones, fibroids, menopause. We have you covered. With over 200 specialty lab tests, we are like your personal health detective. We offer customized meal plans, genetic testing, stress management, and a host of other offers to really get you healthy. Be sure to book your consultation at nutritionyoudesign.com or give us a call at 877-898-5130. You can also find us at ourplugs.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
And we are back. Welcome back, ladies. Welcome back. We're back, WKRA 92.7. We've been listening to Mrs. Jack talking on teaching people how to treat us. So she's given us 4 great tips, and we appreciate you for that. We have Reggie who's joining us. Go ahead and come on up, Reggie. Mrs. Jack, if you want to stay, you can stay. If you want to,
I have one more question.
Oh, you
I wanted to ask everybody. Hi, Reggie.
Hey, Miss Jack. How are you doing?
Good morning to you. I'm great.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. I wanted to ask everybody, do you know the hardest boundary there is to set. Who it's with?
Your parents.
Yourself?
It's yourself. Yeah. I overstep my own boundaries all the time. Like I make whole deals with myself in my head and run them down, run them
How did
over.
Reggie know that?
Oh, you know Reggie knew. Yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. Yeah,
Think about it. Like
that's a good one.
We make a deal. I like I said, I make a deal with myself to work out more. I have made it 7 days on this treadmill, but before I have got to 1 day out of 5, 2 days out of 5, if I sit down long enough, I'm not doing it. It's just, we always do ourselves the worst, but that's the easy one. Now that one ain't gonna get you in too much trouble. That's all I wanted to add.
It will get you in trouble if you don't do it.
Get you in a world of trouble.
A world of trouble, actually.
It really can.
One. Yeah.
Yeah. Self-sabotage is real.
Tell me about it.
Self-sabotage is real. And a lot of us don't realize, like, when we don't set those boundaries for ourselves, we cause ourselves pain.
Yep.
Sometimes we might cause ourselves to be in bad situations.
You're right.
We may, cause ourselves to have bad health, bad choices when it comes to
love
careers.
Cheetos.
All of that. So.
She said, I love Cheetos.
Love Cheetos. They don't like me.
I love Doritos.
Me too. I love Doritos, Cheetos, Fritos, all the Eatos.
All the O's, huh?
All the Eatos.
Eatos.
Oreos.
Well, we have to actually take a true stance. I think I've done really good. It's called meal prepping. If you meal prep on Sundays and you just put in your mind, I'm only going to take this to work and I'm not going to eat anything. I had a temptation today. A coworker of mine keeps all of this candy on her desk. And I was standing there talking to her, and I just reached in her jar and grabbed 2 Snickers. And then I remembered that I had bought some pickled beets. Don't judge me. I love pickled beets. They're delicious. They are delicious. I don't care. I love them.
For the Snickers, though?
You might as well say pickle pig feet.
I went. Shut it up. Shush it up.
I would have had to have the Snickers.
Put them Snickers back, and I ate my pickled beets. And I shared with my coworkers. Don't judge me.
You're a strong one. You're a strong one. You were strong. I applaud you for that one because I don't know what on this planet will make me eat a pickled beet
over a Snicker.
Over
these hips, my big back.
Honey, I would eat air over some pickled beets. I just indulge the air.
If you've never tasted them, you don't know. They are delicious.
I don't like beets, so there's nothing.
I don't like pickles or beets. So
all
there you go.
Hey Reggie, how are you? I'm ignoring y'all. Both of y'all.
Hey DJ Kitty. Hey K. WKRA listening audience. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody?
Everybody, I hope it's doing great. And yes, enjoy your pickled beets, folks.
You dropped the trigger word, obviously, because you got all kinds of reactions. That was hilarious. Oh my goodness, that was hilarious.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. I like my.
It's okay.
So, Reggie, happy Wednesday. What are you bringing to us today? You've always got some real good nuggets, and yesterday was absolutely amazing. So, I would love to hear what do you have for us today?
It was amazing, our show yesterday. If for those of you who didn't get to hear it, you can go to Our Plugs on YouTube and relive what we engaged with yesterday. It was quite wonderful. But for the value identity corner kind of word of the day, and this is really a pivot from what Ms. Jack has been sharing with us, because the backdrop of teaching people how to treat you is really based on how much you value yourself. And so I was thinking about Shayla and our interview with her yesterday and how she talked about storytelling. And that just really kind of got my wheels to spinning. And I'm glad you guys always bring your pens, because there's going to be an interactive part of this that I'd kind of like to engage with you guys on. But, the question is, who is telling your story? Who is writing your story? Is it you, or is it someone else? Is society writing your story? Is it your family? Is it social media? Or do your friends have the pen? And are they creating the mold that you're trying to cram yourself inside of? Because if someone else is writing your story, you need to take the pen away from them, and you need to begin to write your own story. Because there's only one opinion that matters, and that's yours. The other thing that I kind of like to share with you is, again, to that point, what are you saying to you about you? What is the story that you're telling yourself about who you are? What is your body telling you about you? Everything that is alive has its own expression. It has its own language, and the language that your body speaks is called body language, right? I think we've probably all heard of that. So, what is it saying? Because your body is not just a tool. So many of us see our body as just kind of a vehicle. It's kind of a means to an end, but your body is not just a tool. Your body is a school. There is a wealth of information living and breathing in you. And the amount of information that lives and breathes in you is more vast than the libraries of Alexandria. So how about we do this? How about you visit your local library? How about you explore, the vast regions of who you are? Look at your anatomical design. I mean, there's so much about us that is so interesting, but we're so engaged with what society is saying and what is exterior to us, and we're so led away from ourselves that we miss, all of that beauty that's designed, within us. So consider this, and this is the interactive part. So human beings are made up of 2 chromosomes. Can you guys tell me what those 2 chromosomes are?
X and Y.
Exactly. So now let's go one step further. Now, if you draw an X and you draw a Y on your paper, and then if you draw a horizontal line through the center of the X to cut the X in half, what letter do you see above the line?
A Y.
A V?
A V.
No, a V.
Yes,
Right.
a V. Okay. And what letter do you see below the line?
A V.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you do the same thing with the Y, when you draw a horizontal line to cut the Y in half, what letter do you see above the line on top?
A U?
No,
A
it's like
V.
It's a V.
like a
It's a B?
It's also a V. And then what do you see? What letter or what, depending on your perception, what letter or what number do you see below the line?
A V.
a 1
A 1.
or an I.
Exactly. So
Oh.
now look at this. So we have 3 V's and we have a 1, or we have an I. Okay. Now, letters are the foundation of words. And words are the foundation of language. So if your X and Y chromosome is the makeup of who you are, and when we kind of get granular with it and kind of really look at how the makeup of that is, we kind of end up with 3 V's and a Y. And why is that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just consider this for a minute. So the number 3 symbolizes completion, and I'll tell you, I'll kind of give you some reference to that. So every pregnancy has 3 trimesters. So the 3 trimesters, 3 is the complete pregnancy. Okay. The life cycle has 3 phases: the birth, the lifespan, and what I call the transformation. I don't use the word death because death implies an ending, and we are energy. And the nature of energy, or the makeup of energy, is that it can neither be created or destroyed. So when we pass from this form, we simply transform and become earth once again. So, and then the last kind of, proof to that is that every building structure has three components. It has a foundation, it has a middle structure, or the rooms and the spaces, and then it has a crown or a roof. Okay. So again, 3 equals completion. Now let's go back to the X and Y chromosome. So in your breakdown, we have 3 V's and we have a 1. So complete value existing in 1. Because what is the first letter in the word value?
A V.
V.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's look at another side of it. When you hold up your index finger and your middle finger, what letter does that make?
V.
When you hold up your middle finger and your ring finger, what letters does that make?
A V.
When you hold up your ring finger and your pinky finger, what letter does that make?
A V.
Now that is your design. Just observe that. That is your design. What is your body saying to you about you? Your body language. What is it expressing? Just something, food for thought, something to consider. So I'll end with this. Who is writing your story? What is the story that you're telling you about you? Is someone else writing it? Or have you taken the pen? Have you taken the power? And are you writing it yourself?
I love it. It makes you think,
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like, when you come on, Reggie, you come with these nuggets, and it makes you like do a deep dive within yourself. Who's going to write my story? Who's going to write your story, Miss Morningstar?
It's gonna be me.
It's going to have to be us.
You know what it makes me think about?
What?
Something we will never see, which is our funeral. Because people have testimonies and they come up and they speak of you. And it's usually people that have known you either your whole life or have met you in some different form of life where they met you. And they come up and they tell all these stories. And you think about it, these are people I met while I was doing XYZ, while I was in the military, while I was in high school, while I worked at a certain job. And they come up and they tell the story, but we are the ones writing it. We our path is for us. People that interact with us only know us for the time that they know us from. So they can only speak for that time. Like at your funeral, they can only come up and talk about that little time. Mm-hmm. But you're continuously writing your own story. And I love the way you said that.
I do too.
If you are in love with your own story, then that means that you are in love with you. And you're repeating that story. Exactly. You're repeating that story.
Me, my chocolate self.
And so when you talk about, teaching people how to treat us, that's really the backdrop. Everything emanates from how you feel about you.
Absolutely. And if you feel bad about yourself, you really need to take a hard look at your life, and what you don't like, change it. Exactly. It's that simple. I know people say, well, it's easier said than done. No, it's not. You just get up and decide today I'm going to change. Today I'm going to do something that's going to better my life, whether it's looking for a new job if you're unhappy where you're at, whether it's moving out of a toxic situation in a relationship, whether it's dealing with some unruly children, whether it's, like, for instance, you're not happy with your house and maybe, save your money and go buy a can of paint and maybe paint something that makes you feel better about yourself.
Exactly.
We've only got one.
Exactly. And if we can begin to explore ourselves internally, and we can begin to fall in love with our makeup and with our design and with how incredibly designed we are, and how infinite our value is. If we can begin to see those things internally, then we won't need as much outside of us, the things that are external to us, to define us, we won't be as dependent on them, those things won't drive as much of how we feel about ourselves, because all of that wealth and all of that love will be emanating from within, not from outside.
You know what I like to see?
Yeah.
I like when I see parents that speak life into their children. Like you were like, the earlier the better. You can start learning your worth, the earlier the better. So when you see the kids with their little mantras that their kids, the parents teach them, I am beautiful, I am strong, those type of things need to be instilled in kids. But then, like you said, later on in life, like what Kitty was saying, people that have low self-esteem, that don't see their worth, have to like relearn that all over again and get back into finding who they are. But they have to not care about, letting somebody else, like you said, write their story. Because people will tell you negative things about yourself, and you take all that in, it kind of changes your thought process about who you are. So you got to get back to finding who you are, starting your whole mindset over, and getting back to understanding that, your opinions don't matter. Only my opinion about me matters, and nobody else's.
Because there's programming all around. There's programs that watch my channel, watch my channel. Right. I mean, when you talk about emotional and self-esteem, there's all kinds of things that are trying to attach. I call them, FedEx, delivery persons that are trying to deliver their packages. But it's like, no, if that doesn't align with me, I'm not signing for it. I'm not opening my door. I'm not receiving that into my space. I'm not receiving that into my life. Right. And so, we have to be very intentional, about, again, how we speak to ourselves. I don't even use the word want. I use the word, desire, or I would like to, because, scripture that says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, because the word want implies the absence of. Mm-hmm. So if I say I want to be happy, I'm saying I am. My life is void of happiness. Mm-hmm. But if I say I desire to be happy, then now I'm speaking in alignment, and now I can, again, placing my order, looking at the universe as a restaurant, now that can come back into my experience. So just little things like that.
Absolutely. I remember growing up and being a young adult and dating. I was on the dating scene for a little while, not long at all, because I met my husband and got married. I've been married for 31 years. So 24 years, 25, 26, I don't even know, 26 years. Lord. Anywho, when I was dating, my dad and my parents, they set me down. They were like, I had broke up with my kid's father, and I was new, and they were like, don't go doing all that dating, but if you're gonna date, I want you to ask the person that you date one question, and if they can't answer that question, then you don't need to talk to them. My parents told me, and this is what my dad had asked my mom: are you happy? Are you happy? And I was like, well, my dad said, the reason why you're asking them, are they happy, is you want to see where their mental state is at. Mm-hmm. Because if they're not happy with their own selves, hurt people? Absolutely. You're going to get into a relationship with somebody who's not even happy with themselves. Yes. And then they're going to look to you to make them happy. So I encourage people all the time, ask a person before you do years and years. When you first meet them, ask them, are you happy?
What makes you happy? What are you happy about? Go a little deeper and find out. So they're not just telling you anything. You ask them questions. That's why I say date for a long time. Get to know these people. But if you're already happy, you'll be quick to say it too. Yeah, I'm real happy.
Yeah, and you can rattle it off on why you're happy. And it shouldn't be material things. Oh, I got a Benz and I got this.
Exactly.
It should be
Because that's not you.
within yourself.
Exactly. Because you are not your Benz. Exactly.
Exactly.
Are you happy? Exactly.
Yeah.
And not only listen to their words, look at their energy, read their energy, read their body language. Look at how they react.
Yeah. I say take them to a restaurant.
Look at how they speak to service people. That's a big indicator.
That's a big.
I said that.
Yes. And how they talk to their mothers and sisters and brothers, how they treat their siblings, because that is
how they treat
so important.
How they treat everybody who they love or who they're surrounded by. You have to really observe.
I am doing dating mental health next week, y'all. Dating.
You have to observe all of that. But there's never, I'm gonna say this, there's never a perfection. Like you're never gonna find the perfect. You're going to continue to learn on people change throughout time. It always, so it's like sometimes when you think about it, you say, well, get to know somebody for a long time. You can, in some instances, some people have known people their whole life and then they end up being with that person and that person ain't who they thought they knew.
It's true. So
and they're not happy, they're miserable because they never truly knew who that person was, but they hid it the whole time.
But you thought you knew who that person was, but that person was good at not telling you who they were, or maybe they weren't able to deal with the things that they needed to deal with, as far as who they were as a person. So that can always happen in a lot of situations. I've seen people be married for 40, 50 years and in their marriage because
that's a long time.
That's long.
That's a long time. Waste my time, sir.
I know. Maybe I shouldn't say 30 or 40 because I know somebody who was married 30 years and ended their marriage.
That's sad.
It is. It's very sad.
But I have to kind of think though that there had to be things along the way.
Of course there were.
And so that's a lot of, depriving,
overlooking.
Exactly. And
yourself.
And not valuing yourself. Exactly. Because I've been here for 10 years. So it's like, no, you've got.
I'm gonna stay till the kids get out of school.
Exactly.
And that's what
I know. Away the rest of your happiness.
It's a lot of people who do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know a couple of people who have done that personally, but sometimes
I'm gonna be by myself.
Yeah, if it's gonna be that, you got to think. My thought process is, if once you've been in it for so long, yes, some people can grow apart if you're not growing together. It takes open dialogue. That plain and simple. When you stop speaking, when you stop talking and listening to each other, that's the hardest thing about any relationship, but especially when you're married. When you can walk in the house and y'all can go days without actually having a conversation, not, hey, how was your day?
That'll never happen in my house.
No. Well,
I am a detective. Okay.
You are.
What's wrong with
I.
You? Sit down. We need to have cut everything off. Look me in my eyeballs.
Everything. I want to talk about the day. And that there's there's nothing wrong with actually sitting and talking. Maybe your spouse just needs an outlet. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone listening, you want your spouse to come to you because they're going to have to let it out somewhere. And if it's not you, it could be that anybody who's paying them some attention. Exactly. I'm going to put it out there.
The work wife.
Last week.
I don't play that work wife.
Exactly.
Work husband
exactly.
At all.
No, ma'am. Absolutely.
But that's what happens when you're not again, you're not creating that environment and that safety in your own situation and environment where they feel safe and comfortable to share with you. And then you got to exactly. It's got to
work on it.
Exactly.
You have to work on
communication.
And you have to and sometimes we don't. I'm gonna be the first to say, I do not have all the answers. I am not going to sit up here and play it like I'm perfect perfect Patty who has been married and I know the answers and I can tell you just sit down and have a
You never
conversation.
will.
Sometimes it's not that easy. It's just
No,
not
you can
that
just
easy.
have a conversation about it. You are perfectly well at explaining what is the issue with you, and you are perfectly well at listening to your husband tell you what is wrong with him. And then y'all just started the
Can be.
conversation,
I'm
and then
a
both of
I'm
y'all.
a piggyback. I'm a kind of disagree to agree with you.
You don't have to be perfect.
Because I'm gonna tell you this: in situations of two different types of people, as we talk about the X and the Y, different people react to information differently. So
True.
I say you have to know how to handle people. You have to learn who they are and be able to know how to handle them in a way that is that you're going to be able to communicate.
Right.
But
that ain't what I was saying.
Whether it means, okay, I can't cut everything off in the house right now and pull you to the couch and say, you're going to have this talk.
We're going to talk right now. Right.
See, no, that don't work.
What I was saying is, you know your point of view to be able to tell him, and he know his point of view to be able to tell y'all. So then y'all just
but listen
talking.
to me when I say that don't work all the time.
It don't work all the time.
Not all the time. Some people you have to give them their space.
Exactly.
Oh, definitely.
You have to give them that space for a minute. And I'm guilty sometimes. I want to talk right now.
But we are Capricorns. We want to fix it right now. That's why we want to talk right now, because we don't like having animosity. So when we say we want to fix it right now, it's like
we do.
But you're not ready, so it takes a minute for us to be like.
Sometimes, and it's a learning. It's a learning curve.
Hours.
It is.
It's a learning curve, and
it is.
Once you mature in that, and you start to learn the curve after a few bumps, it does. It starts to flatten out. The road starts to flatten a little bit because now you know. Okay, I gotta move this way instead of moving the way that you used to move. It's all a learning pattern. That's why I know in beginning of my marriage, my mom's friend, who was like a godmother to me, may she rest in peace, but she was amazing. Her best advice to me and my husband was, don't ever think you're gonna stop learning each other.
There you go.
And she had been married over 20 something years to her husband. Both of them are now deceased, but she said, I'm telling you, every day you're going to wake up and maybe something new, but you're going to continue to learn each other.
That's the best.
That's what T-Wiz just said. She learned when he needs his space. We got to understand that they ain't ready yet and wait.
All right. We've got 4 minutes left. So before we end, I love this conversation. I think it's so beneficial. There's so many people that actually need to hear this because none of us have all the answers. Mrs. Morningstar, you're absolutely correct.
I agree.
No matter how long you've been married. My parents were married for 50 years. My mother still was fussing about my daddy. She was, I can't stand your daddy. Come get him. My daddy was a piece of work. He was. He was a man. God rest his soul, God rest their souls. But you never stop learning. And that is the best
That's the beauty.
part.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of being married.
That's the journey.
You find out something new about this wonderful person you already love.
And you ain't gonna like it sometimes.
Exactly. And that's okay too. Because learning is uncomfortable sometimes.
You so much, but you know why you love him so much.
You know why.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the last few minutes. Reggie, thank you. You always come in and you drop those nuggets, that knowledge on us.
Don't he?
Thing. Yes, every time. Never fails. Any last words, please?
I'm just going to revert to what Miss Bonnie says, 80-20. It's never perfect, but the 20 is where you grow. That's where the work is.
Yeah.
And so just again, and even our problems bring us information. Information is power. Knowledge is power, which empowers you. And when you share that knowledge, it empowers others.
Absolutely.
So it's all upside. It's all upside. It's all about perspective.
Thank you. Mrs. Jack, go ahead. Your last.
My advice is just remember what I said. Set your boundaries and remember that what you do not put an end to, you're willing to overlook. People are you give them an inch, they're going to take them out, but you got to stop it at that inch. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mrs. Jack. As always, As
Yes.
always, we love when you come in on a Wednesday and drop us some knowledge. Mrs. Morningstar, any last words?
Thank you both, Miss Jack and Reggie. Both of y'all always teaching me some new stuff. I appreciate it. And thank you, Chat, for chiming in. Listen, this is a journey. We are all in this journey together, and thank
Yes.
goodness for this community. So, because we are going to continue to grow, and I know we all be better people. So let's keep going. Let's keep growing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. You are listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection, with myself, DJ Kitty, my co-host, Miss Morningstar, WKRA 92.7 The Change. We thank you for all of your considerations. We thank you for giving us time and giving us space to have a voice. Everyone in Memphis and Holly Springs and anyone and everyone that can hear our voices, have a wonderful Wednesday.
Have a great day.
Hey
Wonderful
y'all, it's
Wednesday.
DJ Kitty.
And Miss Morningstar.
We are here from Our Plugs, the Community Connection, and we will be your new morning host on WKRA 92.7 The Change.
Yes, we will be broadcasting Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.
We'll also be streaming on YouTube at Our Plugs LLC.
Be sure to tune in.